and I'm so glad you're all here. Now, first of all, I would like to welcome our very special guest speaker, Mr. Ciarán, Minister of State at the Department of Foreign Affairs, Trade, with special responsibility for the diaspora and international development. So I had to have that from my notes. It's a lot. That's a lot, right? Now, I'm sure there's lots of other important people here. I expect there would be a few TDs and councillors, but I'm not going to go there today. You're all welcome. So I would like especially to welcome Leland Bardwell's family and, of course, the artists themselves who have participated in this special exhibition. When all of the women artists were approached with the concept of this exhibition, inspired by a poem by Leland Bardwell, St. Brigid's Day in 1989, I was really overwhelmed by their response. This concept was the brainchild of Anne Derwin, who's hearing this now for the third time. We've had a lot of openings lately and closings in London. I wanted to thank her in particular because I think we should all be eternally grateful to her, for without her vision and confidence in this, we wouldn't be on this journey. Many of you were in London with me in the 12-star gallery in Westminster, who risked ice and snow and wild weather conditions. We had a fantastic time there. To remind you that this was part of the Embassy's Law Fail of Regis celebration. This celebration of women and creativity was started by Ambassador Adrian O'Neill in London last year, and I believe we're just beginning to see the potential of where this will go for all the women artists involved. Since the exhibition opened in London, we have been invited to bring it to the Department of Agriculture in Dublin for International Women's Day on Friday the 8th of March. I would be really grateful if we could have an even bigger crowd. So please spread the word, use social media, share it, do whatever, but we want to build this. We also have been approached by the Irish Embassy in Berlin for St. Patrick's weekend. There is also an invitation to bring the exhibition to Washington, D.C. So we just have to try and make that happen. So we have added a special dimension to this exhibition. For here, it wasn't in London. It's a short work, Dog Ear, composed in memory of Leland by her son, the Irish composer Dr. John McLachlan, who's here beside me. The piece is about 10 minutes long, and it is accompanied by photographs of Leland. I'd ask you to come and view it in the back gallery, at a quieter time, not today, because it's a sound piece, and we do need that kind of intimacy of a smaller space or smaller crowd. Thank you. Another event that's happening downstairs as you leave, to remind us of St. Brigid, we have Claire Lynch, who's showing the tradition of cross making. I think she should be set up by the time you're leaving. It's in the shop, and so I certainly would need to remind it. Now, this is my little bit concluding now. Today we're joined by Brian Leyden, Mary Branley, Professor Seán Golden, and our very special guest, Eiléan Chuilleanáin, who is Ireland Professor of Poetry. They're all very good friends and admirers of Leland's work, and each have selected some of their favourite readings to share with you today. So without further ado, I will now pass you over to our MC for the day, Brian Leyden.
Thanks. I think it's all done. I'm not going to delay you too much. You thought you were getting a nice short mass. Not so, I can tell you. So yes, as Martina explained, we're splitting this occasion kind of into two parts. The Minister is going to formally open the wonderful exhibition Brigid's Day with 90 women artists, and following that, because we're in Sligo and because Leland is such an embedded part of Sligo and the time spent here, we have our friends, colleagues, poets and her son Johnny to sort of celebrate Leland and the poem. So I will not hang about longer. I will introduce each of us in turn, and except to say that the friendship that was fostered, it's a market that Eiléan has travelled again. She did the London, and she's travelled to Sligo again to mark and celebrate that friendship. And that is our little family that went back to the Sligo Literary Festival and all that. So it's like a little legacy issue there as well. But the Minister is now going to officially open this exhibition and say a few words. Ciarán, thank you.
Good morning, everybody, and a usual spring morning in Sligo. I've just come up from Athenry this morning at the invitation of my good friend and colleague Anne Durbin, who you might have realised at this point is a wonderful champion of Irish women in culture, in entrepreneurship, and her influence is felt across the whole of government when she sets out to achieve particularly powerful outcomes in terms of women's participation in culture and entrepreneurship. So when Anne invites you, you cannot refuse. As Martina said, this exhibition was inspired by the poem St. Brigid's Day in 1989, written by Leland Bardwell, who spent so much of her life living here in beautiful Sligo, and it's a very fitting tribute that the exhibition actually appears here now. As Martina has said, the exhibition has just returned from London, having formed part of a broad programme of events and an increasingly powerful programme of events across the whole of our mission network in the Department of Foreign Affairs, celebrating St. Brigid's Day, celebrating the talent and the creativity of Irish women around the world. And this year, St. Brigid's Day is reached across the globe with a number of fantastic exhibitions and performances in our embassies, in our consulates, and in other venues, again celebrating the powerful creativity of Irish women, past and present, and hosting a range of really exciting events. And that's something that Anne, and indeed all of our colleagues in the Department of Foreign Affairs, are intent on building on in the future. I'm delighted that it was possible for our department to support this particular endeavour, which has brought together Irish female artists from all over the country and given them an opportunity to exhibit for a time in the 12-star gallery of the European Commission offices in London, and now in the Hamilton Gallery, and hopefully onwards from here. I was looking at, Anne gave me a copy of the programme, the brochure for the event earlier this week, and I was looking at some of the works coming up in the car. You know, the depth, the diversity, and the different approaches taken by each artist in trying to recreate in their own minds the power of that poem was pretty astounding. And it's also striking that each artist, in taking the exact same piece of poetry as an inspiration, has drawn on such a variety of images and meaning, resulting in a very, very rich display of over 90 different paintings. And the celebration of St. Brigid's Day was chosen by my department in order to showcase the work of inspirational Irish women. The contemporary artworks featured in this exhibition were created by artists from all over Ireland, North and South, as well as Irish artists based abroad. In essence, women who are part of the global Irish community. And in addition, a number of foreign-born artists who are now resident here in Ireland have also contributed to the exhibition. And Leland Bardwell herself was born in India and then lived in the UK for many years. So this exhibition has a very strong diaspora dimension. And again, it is that wonderful celebration of powerful Irish female creativity. As many of you know, Leland Bardwell was an extraordinary person who had a great influence on the cultural life of Ireland over her long life. And I imagine she would be very, very pleased to be the inspiration for this powerful exhibition in Sligo. The exhibition wouldn't have been possible without the fantastic work of my colleague Anne, and indeed Martina Hamilton and the Hamilton Gallery. And I want to thank Martina for her, there she is, for her partnership. Our partnership and our commitment in delivering, in what Anne tells me was a very short time frame, this very, very memorable exhibition. I also want to sincerely thank all of the artists who contributed to the exhibition and who, in participating, helped to celebrate Brigid, the life of Leland Bardwell, and indeed women's strength of fruitfulness and learning. I'm going to finish with the words of Theo Dorgan, who spoke recently in where I work every day in Leinster House on the importance of our Irish culture. And in doing so, he asked a question that we all ask of ourselves every now and again, perhaps some of us more than others. And here's what he spoke just over 2 weeks ago. Who do we want to be? Who do I want to be? How best to imagine a more fulfilling life? The answer, often hesitant and unsure, is always, I want my life to mean something. I want to enjoy the human release of knowing there is more to life than this. And this is why we turn to our books, to our cinema screens, to our galleries, to our concert halls, and to small back rooms in pubs that shelter our music. We turn to our many arts for comfort, for questions that mean something, for a sense of something greater and more meaningful in life. We turn to these things, to these places, in order to be lifted up. And I've no doubt that everyone who experiences this exhibition will be lifted up by the diversity and the richness of the artistic expression that they see before them. A wonderful homage to the life of Leland Bardwell.
Well said.